This is the Ask Our podcast, a series where we ask questions and hear about people's real life experiences. I brought in an expert new teacher to have a chat. Please welcome on Brody.
Hi.
You are an expert new teacher, if such a thing can exist. First off, I just want to know, how long have you been teaching for?
Yep, so I'm on my second year now and it's halfway through the year, so 1.5 years of teaching experience.
Nice. And what subjects and what grades do you teach?
I'm predominantly HBE, but I also teach grade 11 biology. So I've got 7 HBE, 8 HBE, grade 10 wellbeing, grade 11 biology, and grade 11 certificate 3 in health.
Mm-hmm. And do you get to choose your subjects, or are they kind of given to you when you start at a school?
You graduate qualified in certain certificates, and then when you apply for a job, you're applying for a specific teaching subject area. So I took this job on as the HBE teacher, and it just so happened to line up that the biology teacher needed a second one. So I knew I was going to be HBE and was surprised to get biology.
So I actually didn't realize that. So when you study, you kind of have to choose what subjects you're going to be specializing in. How deep into the study is that?
Different degrees, different ways. Mine was always a Bachelor of Health, Sport, Physical Education. So by choosing that degree, I chose to be qualified in PE and biology.
Yeah. Okay. And when you were kind of like choosing your study, did you have the mindset of being a teacher, or was it like you were partway through and then said, hey, I can actually turn this into a teaching degree?
I'm definitely late to starting teaching. I was finishing my exercise and nutrition science degree and didn't know how to turn that into a career that I wanted. And I thought about it a lot and had some really good conversations with you, and then ended up falling on teaching, and then had to move into that and start and finish the exercise and nutrition, the Bachelor of Health, Sport, Physical Education degree to begin teaching. I didn't quite know that I wanted to be a teacher until I had to make a choice, and then once I'd made that choice, stars aligned. It's been perfect. So
there are like quite a few different kind of pathways into becoming a teacher from a study perspective.
I mean, you can always just go straight into a Bachelor of Education from high school, or you could take your prior experience or different degrees you've done and then do a Master's of Education to get into it. There's even turn to teach programs that run a bit more like an apprenticeship. It really just depends on what your experience is and how that lines up with what and why you want to teach.
So knowing that you took a not super direct path into it, like how much study did you have to do? Like how many years of study was it all up?
I did a 3 years Bachelor of Exercise and Nutrition Science, and then I did my teaching degree was supposed to be 4, but I got recognized prior learning for all the HBE subjects and exercise subjects. So it ended up being about 2.5 years in total for the education qualification.
So that's not too bad.
It was great. Yeah, it was really fast, cheaper than a master's, and heaps of placement. And I think even 2 semesters of that 2.5 years was part-time. So I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, great.
Yep.
Do you think, with all the kind of like the pathway with uni, do you think all of it prepared you for the actual classroom, like now that you've been in it for a while?
Yes and no. I think my degree through University of Queensland was fantastic. It was really specialised towards HPE from the very start, and there was only 20 or 30 people in my course, so it was outside of the usual education mainstream, and they did so many more practical hours than other degrees and much more intentional about when and why. For example, my major prac was 12 weeks. I went and did 2 weeks observation the final 2 weeks of term 2 before then taking a class day 1, week 1, term 3 and running with them all the way to the end. So I actually saw how to set up your classroom routines, how to teach the content towards the assessment, how to do the assessment, mark it, provide feedback, contact home, and the whole deal for a whole term. And I was very fortunate. I haven't heard of any other degrees that really give you that experience to prepare you. But in saying that, you can't be prepared to be by yourself in a classroom, having to do everything. And also the theory components of university, like, kind of make sense while you're learning it, but it's so not applicable when you're there in front of 28 kids. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, thinking back to that very first day, the very first day of your actual on the job, like, hey, I've got my qualification, it's my first day on the job. I imagine you were pretty nervous, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm surprised I didn't throw up. But I survived. Yeah, survived every day I've ever taught. So,
What do you think on that first day, what singular aspect were you most nervous about?
Yeah, it really comes down to like imposter syndrome and just how am I the one in charge? Like, how is there no other more responsible adult in this classroom? I'm the most responsible adult, and that's kind of crazy. Regardless of what happens, you've got to know what to do next and just do it. And the kids kind of have seen so many classes and teachers, and then you're coming in and this is your first time teaching, so they even outweigh you with experience on that very first day. They know when you make mistakes, they know when you're scared, and so I think that really changes the power dynamic at the start, changes the whole control, or confidence maybe is the best way. So,
I never really thought about that because unless you did placement like specifically at that school, you're coming in completely fresh, and a lot of these kids have been there for years and years. So you're on their territory.
Yeah, every school's different with behavior management processes and rules and the way they do things. Every class is different, every age group, and they are already set in what's okay in their school and know the rules way better than you do. And so they'll push and get away with as much as possible, especially when they know that you don't know. So,
I remember being one of those students on the other side, and I was definitely like, when a substitute teacher comes in, I was stoked. I was like, we're going to have a fun day today.
Absolutely.
So, school typically runs like 9 till 3, give or take. What are your hours? Like, typically, what time do you get there and what time do you leave?
Yeah, I always want to be prepared before I walk in. So I don't think I could be a walk in at 8:50 to start at 9 type of person. So I have almost consistently arrived at 7 to 7:30 in the morning for a 8:50 house family start. That lets me make sure I've got every single lesson lined up for that day, any organization for labs or pracs or lessons out on the oval. I've got my equipment ready and just know what I'm going to do. That just takes off so much cognitive burden throughout the day, so much stress, just knowing, okay, this is it, I'm ready, let's do this. And then some days that means I can just leave at 3:30 if I can.
Sweet.
To just de-stress and let it go and make sure to live my life. Other days I'll be there till I think 4:30, so 7:30 to 4:30 is my average day.
Yeah. And that's not too bad. So if you ran at 7:30 to 4:30, would you take home a lot of work? Like, is there much that you have to do at home after that?
During the weekdays, no, because I really need to de-stress and, play sport, see friends and make sure to live my life. But on the weekends, I'm still pretty new. So I will do all my lesson planning on Sunday. So I'll put in about anywhere from 4 to 6 hours on Sunday, just so I know every single lesson that week is planned, ready to go. All I need to do is get in the morning, make sure everything's ready and do it. There's no, I've got nothing to teach in this lesson that's in 10 minutes time. What am I going to do? The kids are going to jump on tables, It's all ready to go.
So I'm doing the math in my head. So that's like close to a 50-hour week-ish, right?
That's 9 hours a day, Monday to Friday. So that's 45. And then, another 5 on Sunday. Yeah. Math checks.
But it's, again, this is kind of like your choice. And I imagine that there'd be other teachers, maybe some that are more experienced where they don't need quite as much prep time because, they've been at the school, they know the students, they just been there for so long.
Yeah, absolutely. But then there's probably the most intimidating teachers, the ones that are working till 8 p.m. Monday to Friday, that are putting in crazy amount of hours to just be the best and do everything perfect and just really invest the time that they want to hit their really high work expectations.
Is that common to find people like that?
Yeah, probably in every staff room there's a teacher that's really just passionate and motivated and just giving it everything they got, because there's so much you can invest into teaching. You can always be doing a better job. There's always another student you could connect with. There's always a way to tweak your lessons to support everyone's learning. It never ends, really. The ceiling is infinite.
Man.
And so it's up to you to decide how many hours you're gonna put in. What's your benchmark? So
Yeah. So like you would say that it's like there's a good couple of teachers out there that are pushing like 60-hour weeks on the regular.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Man, that's crazy.
Yep.
Talk me through school holidays, because, there's always that conception. It's like, teachers just get school holidays off. They do planning, but they don't actually do any planning. They just get 2 weeks off. How true is that in your experience?
As true as I can make it.
Yeah.
I would love to disconnect the entire time. I would say that the first couple of days, especially the first week of holidays, I've absolutely got to get away and disconnect and do nothing. Like, I need to recharge. And then the second or the final week before school starts is when I start to get back in, get my unit plans ready for the whole term, go through, see what my resources are like from last year to see if there's any improvements I want to make. And I usually start off maybe an hour or two a day on like the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then heading into that Thursday, Friday and the weekend before, that's when, it's the same as term. I've got to make sure my whole week's ready to go for that Monday session 1. It's not like I can start connecting with work on that first day back of holidays. I need to be planned and ready to go.
Yeah.
So it's absolutely a 4 to 6 hour Sunday.
Okay.
It's absolutely some time maybe on Saturday and the Thursday, Friday if there's a lot of planning needed. So
from your experience, school holidays, it's not time off, but it is like a slightly slower, a bit more, you're not hitting those like 50-hour weeks straight up.
Oh, absolutely not. No, it's holidays. It's great.
Yeah, that's really good.
I absolutely love getting out, traveling, make sure to camp. And I could absolutely come in Monday morning having done 0 work and then just be in shambles to start with. I could make that choice and improvise. Me personally, I don't want to do that. I want to be I want to put in the hours, especially as a novice teacher. I've got to put in those hours to make sure my lessons are just okay to start with. Yeah. So it's a choice, not you have to work on your holidays. I choose to. Then there's always, if you don't finish your marking at the end of term, you have to do that through the holidays.
And I guess you would have that flexibility. It would become a kind of work from home situation because you're not expected in the office. So if you did want to go camping or did want to go on holiday, you can still do the work on those different locations.
Yeah, it never happens.
No?
You can say, I'm going to take this marking with me and it'll stay exactly where you put it. It's not going to happen.
It's an option, but not one that people actually do. They say, this is a good idea. With the curriculum, I've always wondered, is there like a certain standard that you have to follow? Are there certain things that you have to have in your lessons, and how much actual leeway and flexibility do you have to do your lessons?
HPE or the rest of the curriculum?
Well, is there a big difference between?
Yeah, HPE, and I would assume this is the same for subjects such as drama or art or anything with a bit more creative or practical components. The curriculum has to tie in your movement skills, your safety, your teamwork, and your communication and fair play, and those sort of sides of what HPE is trying to teach and the PE side of it. And then the other half is the health components, the theory components. HPE curriculum is quite unique because they give you 5 practical components, 5 theory components, and you can pick and choose how you're going to merge them. So for example, we do water, water practical part, and then we combine that with safety to do a lifeguard unit. And that's how we wrap our content in and first aid in. So we had a choice there, whereas science or biology is very much, here's your syllabus, here's every single bit of knowledge they need to know, and then you just run through it because it is packed. It's always getting more and more packed with content. The government, the Australian curriculum is, just filling it up and filling it up.
Oh, okay.
And so, sometimes as a biology teacher, it's not how can I teach all this? It's the skill of knowing what you don't have to teach. Knowing what is less important that's going to, if you miss something that they need for grade 12, that's a disservice to the students. Whereas it was just like a one-off bit of science in the syllabus. Maybe in grade 11 you skim over it, but I would assume math would be you need to know bar graphs, so you're going to do a unit on that. So here's how you start, here's how you finish, and your lessons can be creative, but by the end of the day, almost every math teacher could go into grade 8 bar graphs and run the same sort of lessons from start to finish, because it's the same learning outcomes.
And is there like a kind of governing body or whatever that's like keeping an eye on your lessons and making sure that you are delivering the correct content?
Your immediate supervisor, so my head of department for each faculty, so my HPE HOD will check my unit plans and my lesson plans at the start of term to make sure everything's good to go, matches up, and apply any feedback from last year. But as far as is anyone checking, I don't know. I feel very isolated, independent as a teacher. You're just giving your classes and you're giving your kids, and away you go. Nobody is in that classroom with you except you and the kids, and they don't know what they're supposed to be learning. It's up to you to really choose your lessons. And so I could go completely off tangent, and I think it would take a while before anyone realized that I was doing something completely off left field.
Because you said you put in your lesson plans at the start, but no one's actually seeing if you're following that lesson plan. You can create a lesson plan, but then in theory, just kind of do whatever.
Yeah. And that's, it should be that way in a sense, because you need to adapt to your class, and every class is wildly different.
No, I agree. Have there been any kind of pivots or lesson deliveries that you were really proud of, that you said, man, that's actually creative, or that really I kind of tweaked something and it really landed with these students?
Gosh, that's the hardest thing right now. I don't think the delivery of content is my strength. And so I very much am pretty vanilla with my teaching the content, a lot of PowerPoints. I would say I did 11 biology last year, and my kids were so bored. And so I really have taken as many lessons as I can and apply a more hands-on learning approach. And some of them have been heaps of fun, and the kids have gotten really into it. And then at the end of the lesson, I'll feel great, and I'll ask them, so what did we learn? And they're like, nothing. We just learned how to build an entire plant structure using straws and a pump and, replicating the phloem and the xylem. But I don't know what I'm supposed to know from that. It was just fun.
But is that just teenager feedback? I don't know. It's hard to get any type of feedback from teenagers from my experience.
And then what if I just made them write the notes from a PowerPoint and asked them at the end, what did you learn? They'll probably say, I don't know, I took notes.
Yeah, so, I wrote it down, but it didn't land.
I'm still working on that. How can I make engaging yet effective lessons and keep improving? So
and I guess it is always a very iterative process. You're always growing, always step by step. What was your first wow, I'm actually a teacher, I'm actually doing all right moment? Have you had one?
I would say when end of term 1 exam results came back and my grade 11 biology class did a little bit better than all the other sciences that they were enrolled in. So, a kid got a B+ for me, but they got B- in every other science, like physics and chem or maths and English. So it just felt like I was connecting with them and teaching them correctly, and they did well in their assessment. And I know it shouldn't be assessment driven, but that's kind of when you get some feedback on, did you do a good job or not? Because prior to those exam results, I was like, I've just ruined these kids. They've learned nothing.
You're giving them one term of fun at least. I don't know.
Yep.
So you said, 28 students in a class. You can have up to 28 students in a class.
Yeah.
How do you manage their different educational and behavioral needs? Because that is a melting pot of different personalities and levels and needs and everything in there.
Yeah. You just do what you can. Every day's different. You don't know what's going to happen. My grade 7s are just wild with behavioral needs, with educational needs. Plus, I've got just geniuses in my class, and it is a phenomenal challenge. I have no idea how to succeed. And this is why teachers would put in the hours to make sure they can help every kid achieve success. Whereas I'm either making a lesson too easy to help the kids keep up, and then my top kids are bored, or I'm doing a prac lesson where I really want to teach some skills to those grade 7s that love sport, and then my kids who have never played sport are overwhelmed and don't know what to do. Or there's no perfect way to do it.
Yeah, I guess you're never going to hit 100%, and you'd have to give yourself quite a bit of grace. And I imagine a lot of people would have trouble with that. Like, how did you find that early on?
You know, at the end of the day, you kind of break each lesson into a success criteria. Like, this is what I want you to learn from this. And then I often set a extended success criteria and then a easier one. And then I just like let each kid know what success looks like for them. And hopefully like that's enough, giving like 3 different layers of did you achieve what you set out to achieve in a theory lesson. And that's just okay, in 60 minutes did I manage to get that done? Did they take away from it? Did they actually learn? Could I ask questions and get some feedback from them on the learning? Were they engaged? Were they safe? You just kind of have a few questions that you just ask, and
Have you, I guess this is a more behavioral focused question, but have you ever had a class just go completely off the rails?
Nothing, like no point where I'm ever just there like I've lost 100% control. I've had classes close where my grade 10 wellbeing class this was my very first class that I ever walked into.
Oh gosh, of course it's the first one as well.
Yeah. And I was told by the year level coordinator who's known these kids since grade 7, knows all their parents, they were just like, these kids are lovely. They're such a good, genuine class. You're going to love teaching them. You won't have any issues. And then maybe day 2, some of the boys were like jumping and swinging off the rafters in the roof and the thing and just shouting and banging. And I'm like, okay, I'll give you a detention. And they're like, ooh, a detention, uh-oh.
Oh no, and you're just like, that was my one trick I had.
Yeah, you didn't prepare me for that. And it took a long time to find what works with each class. But they were the absolute worst for behavior and intentionally every lesson, what can they get away with? What can they do? But I don't know. I never had completely lost control. There's always been some semblance of, okay, I am still the teacher. Yes, there's a line. Okay, if you cross this line, there will be consequences. If you're going to make that choice, that's what's going to happen. And they, kind of respected that just enough at the start so that we made it through the end of the first term. And then I learnt the school policies, procedures. I got more confident, got better routines, got to know the kids, and just kind of falls in line with time. So
are there any like educational gaps that you're seeing, like any trends, any patterns with the students that you've been teaching over the last like year and a half?
Ability to read and write is
just a bit lower than you'd expect.
I've got grade 9 students who can't read and can't write. I've got a grade 7 student who can't spell their own name. The handwriting, I have to take a lot of my HPE lessons at the start to discuss what is acceptable handwriting, what is too messy that I actually can't read this anymore. Do we have to get our letter shapes out and practice this basic skill? Because if you write an assessment like this and I can't read it, what do I do? You may know everything perfectly, but if I can't read it, then so that's kind of shocked me and is just
that's interesting
consistent
at that age as well. Do you think that's like it hasn't been detected that there's been gaps, or there just hasn't been resources to give them to address those gaps?
I mean, you can, what is the saying? You can lead a horse to water, make a drink. Absolutely been detected through primary school. There absolutely have been resources allocated, programs there. Our school runs a really good literacy, reading and writing program, but there's just, whether it's students just refusing to make the choice to do it and refusing to go to class and just don't want to, or some sort of cognitive or intellectual or motor skills. I can tell you all the different reasons that there are, but there are many reasons for, there's just kids that come to school, maybe even primary school, high school, where I've never read a book.
Yeah. Wow.
So,
Do you think, it's been a while since you were a student. Do you think schooling has changed a whole lot from when you were in school compared to now?
I don't think so. I can't remember too much from school. So I'm 32 now, so graduated 15 years ago. And I don't know, you just come to class, bring your books, sit down, do your work, be cheeky, laugh a lot, have fun with your friends, can't wait to go home at 3 o'clock. Socializing is just significantly more important than any part of learning. I see a lot of students that are just kids, they're just, same as I was when I was a kid. And the older I get, the more I forget what it's like to be a kid. But I don't know, that's probably my take on it. Just try and have a bit more grace and try not see all these bad things that are happening and think, oh, this is the worst generation ever. But like, nope, I did that too. Yeah, I was,
And you still turned out okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I was so bad at high school.
Oh, were you?
So bad. And it took me, hence why I'm starting my career late. It took me a while to make the choice and find the motivation and do the hard work. And now I'm really proud of where I'm at. So I look at some students that the teachers are fed up with and so disappointed in, and I kind of accept, hey, just because they're not doing well in high school doesn't mean that they're a bad person or a failure of a person or going to go nowhere with their life. It's right now, in this moment, they don't have the motivation, they don't have the desire, they don't understand, or maybe there's other things going on, So trying to have a bit more grace and compassion of it's just okay to be a teenager that doesn't do well in school. It's not the end of the world to do badly in school. So, yeah.
So one of the kind of hot topics at the moment is that there's been a few teacher strikes occurring. There's a lot of mixed messages from your experience. What do you think the strikes are about?
That's a great question. It's pretty... there's a few points to it. I would say the main one that I've kind of taken away is that teachers have to deal with a lot of political change and political decisions about the education system and what's important, and the amount of changes that have been pushed onto school and that we have to deal with. And this is the new learning thing that we're doing in schools. This is the new way that we're going to break through. This is the new literacy and numeracy program. It's just kind of led to a lack of what actually works. Another big part is that schools aren't able to fully manage themselves. For example, with behavior management, let's say you've got a kid that's just refusing to do work, being incredibly disrespectful, potentially even harming teachers, or verbally abusive towards teachers. If a student swears at a teacher, you would think, okay, that's a suspension, off you go. If a student hurts a teacher, you would think, okay, that's an expulsion, it's not okay for you to be here. But that goes up to the principal. The principal then is okay, let's follow the procedure to have this student excluded from our school. And then that process is approved by another governing body. And I could get this wrong, I don't know all the facts. This is probably secondhand from what I've heard. However, the governing body that's approving or disapproving that makes sure, have you called the parent a bunch of times? Have you ticked all these boxes? Have you done this? Have you done that? And I've heard, especially in my school, a lot of times when we're not able to effectively follow behavior management processes because that power is taken away from the principal. The governing body says, no, you haven't crossed your T's and dotted your I's, so therefore you're not able to suspend or exclude the student. They have to come back and go to class with the teacher that they just
potentially assaulted
or hurted.
Yeah. That's really interesting, because I guess there's more of an assumption that I guess I was assuming that it was the schools aren't getting enough support from government, but perhaps in this case, it's like the government is maybe too involved and the school would actually do a little better being let to do its own thing.
Well, I would say right there, you're saying the government.
Well, yeah, that's a very
singular
broad
entity.
Yeah.
And when it comes to an entire education system for a country, you have to have nuanced policies and procedures and different organizations that do monitor this to make sure everyone's treated fairly and in a process that works. But at the end of the day, the principal is the one given the responsibility to manage a school for effective teaching and safety for teachers and allowing us to do our job. And so if that's taken away, how are we expected, like, the teacher strikes for me is about the safety of teachers and the working conditions. I didn't sign up to have my physical safety threatened. I didn't sign up to be verbally abused. And that's happened to me quite a few times. And at the end of the day, I still have to teach those students. There's no... That's just the way it worked, is that and the strikes from me and from what I heard and from the rally meeting was about, this is just not safe working conditions. You know, if I ever got hit, I would, or had my health and safety really threatened, I would probably look at a new career, because that's not why I'm there. I'm there to teach kids who want to be there and who are going to, meet the expectations of they're agreeing to be at school. They should, they're agreeing to act in a certain way. If they don't meet that, then they shouldn't be at school to a certain extent. And I want, schools to be able to do that, principals to be able to do that with the policies and procedures that they think is going to work best for their school. But if the principal is being hamstrung, if we're being told that, no, we're not allowed to exclude a student because of a simple paperwork issue, or didn't make enough phone calls home to a parent who's never going to answer the phone in the first place, then where's the sense in that? Like, how is this okay when it's not just a single school's issue, it's a nationwide issue? How are you still allowing us to work, like us teachers, to work in these conditions repeatedly without change when it's getting worse? So, wake up, make these important changes for safety, like see what the issues are, see what we can do about it, instead of just deal with it. Here's some more money. It's not about the money for me, it's about the systemic issues that are enabling my health and safety to be at risk. So
well, if that's the case, that's a very valid reason to be on strike. Just as we're winding down, tell me what led you to teaching in the first place? What was the draw that made you say, hey, I can do this, I actually want to do this?
I would say I was really looking for like a sense of purpose, and I really wanted to belong in a community and play my part and contribute to society in some way. And I just love HB. I love being active in the sports and games and the confidence and health and happiness that they can bring to people. So I really wanted to share that to others. And then teaching is just like the perfect ground there, where I'm part of a society contributing to help as many students as I can to grow and deal with being a teenager and learn and try and set some goals that they want to succeed in life and help them meet that. I love how chaotic it is. I could not do an office job. I want to walk into a class having no idea what's about to happen and just get to go with the flow of actual human beings and actual genuine situations and genuine conversations about their life that I never thought I would have, because these are all new young people going through new experiences, and it's just great to share that and live that and be the teacher. There's at the core of it something really fun and engaged and just happy when you have a really positive class that wants to be there and everyone gets to be safe and engaged and on the same page. And I just fills me up, makes me happy, and loving it at the moment, 1.5 years in. So hopefully start of a long, successful career.
Well, it sounds like you're definitely in the right place. And the last question, what advice would you have for anyone that is looking at becoming a teacher themselves?
Probably two things. Number one is just like accept that no job is perfect. So when you start teaching, like, don't worry, like, you're going to run into things that are wrong or bad or misrun or the stress or issues, and just don't get overwhelmed. Just let that go, or just do your best. If anyone who is thinking about teaching, it's just a way to share your passion and find other people, other kids that could be passionate about what you do. They're just waiting for someone to build that in them and share that with them and show them how to engage with that, whether it be your love of science and learning and chemistry and how the word works. You could find a kid that wants that too, they just don't know how. So you get to share what you love with other people. Yeah.
Awesome. I love that. Well, thank you for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Cool. Thank you.